talking is co-directors, co-writers, and stars of In Action. Sean Kenealy and Eric Silvera join the Chris Collins Show Millennial Talk Show. How's it going, fam?
Thumbs up. Doing good. Happy to be here.
Hello.
Thumbs up. That's what's good. And you know what? Before we even begin to talk about this action comedy, let's show our CCS family what's good by playing a teaser of In Action right now. So let's roll the clip, Marissa.
Sean and Eric were writing partners, but haven't talked in 5 years. Until a chance encounter at a wedding rekindles their partnership.
Maybe we can try again. Maybe we can be partners again, and maybe we can write together again.
How many drinks have you had?
Now, Sean and Eric must fight to escape, becoming real-life action heroes. In Action, the world's first two-person action movie.
And yes, as you're laughing along with this teaser, it's just as funny as it is. But Eric, I'm starting to sort of question myself, and also you, Eric. But I was sort of looking at you first, though, Eric. Were you the last person to be released from captivity? I mean, look at how long your beard is. You would say in the West Coast, you got some taco meat going on.
Yeah.
So what is going on?
What I like to do, I like to shave every 2 weeks now. So I let it grow. I mean, I'm a hairy man, so it grows like this. And Sunday I do a full like the buzzer, and then I do a blade. And I'm clean shaved for like
even in the summertime in triple digits. You were
well, you know what? We're like as we head into July, I'll start buzzing a little bit more often. But I was just like, screw it, whatever.
No,
like,
I shave my legs in the summertime every day. In the winter, I'm a 2-weeker too. But not when
Eric, do this stuff.
Eric,
let them see the
I got the curls going too.
I know, it's beautiful.
I love it.
I love it.
I'm going for the Steven Seagal. I want the slick back, the buff spot in the middle, and then the ponytail over here.
You're there. You did
it. You make it a little bit higher. You'll have that man bun.
That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna mix it up like that. My dad last night was like, he's like, comb it up, comb it back, and you're good. You're covered up. So
he's just a regular hipster, man.
And you're getting to my point because I know Steven Seagal. I mean, he was a triple threat in Hollywood, and I don't know too many people in cinema that are doing what you and Eric are doing right now. And Sean, I mean, so I think of people like George Clooney, Orson Welles, you know, to kind of name a few. So
Sylvester Stallone.
Stallone, totally.
Yeah, he became a star because he wrote, directed, and acted in Rocky. If it wasn't for that, no Sylvester.
Totally.
But I guess I'll throw this at Sean first, though. It's like, how do you guys see yourselves? I mean, do you want to act, write, or direct if you had to pick out of the three?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for listing all of those names. I'm kind of, I can't even believe you would even put us like in that universe, but it feels really good to be just in that even sentence is nice. So, but I mean, I think you know, the In Action came about because Eric and I had been writing with each other for a few years. We had a few scripts under our belt, and we both knew if we were going to get something made, we had to do it ourselves. So I think the acting portion of it was kind of almost done by necessity because we needed to do it. I acted in a bunch of theater. Eric had done stand-up. I think at first he wouldn't call himself an actor, but you know, he could make a room of 100 people laugh. So I'm like, you're an actor. You can do this, you know? But that said, I think first and foremost, we think of ourselves as writers and directors. And I mean, I loved acting and I would love the chance to do it again. But I think what excited me most was being behind the camera and writing with Eric during the filming.
And what about you, Eric? I mean, what do you prefer, the acting, the directing, or the writing?
I'm with Sean. I like I think we're writers and directors first. But I had a lot of fun acting. I enjoyed it, and I've loved performing for years. And so, if the opportunity presented itself, I would do it. But I think, you know, as Sean and I as a team, we are definitely a writing and directing team for sure.
Yeah, and Sean and Eric, I mean, the premise of your action comedy film In Action is utterly ridiculous and most hilarious. I just gotta be real. But how did the idea for In Action come to be?
Definitely. You know, it's funny because Eric and I, we had written another big action screenplay before In Action, you know, like super big budget, big Hollywood movie that of course we would never be able to make. But I remember we'd be at work and we'd be emailing each other ideas back and forth. And I'd be like, Eric, we could blow this up. And I would be researching chemical weapons. And I'd be like, Eric, check out this chemical, you know, like kind of ridiculous things that we probably should not be even searching on the internet or sending each other back. Yeah, I was like, we're going to get on some list. And when I remember thinking like, oh God, what if we got flagged? And what if like the NSA saw what we were doing? And that kind of spurred the idea it triggered the idea for In Action, which is, you know, two kind of idiot screenwriters that get caught by the NSA because of a script they're writing.
Right.
And honestly, it's actually, Chris, it's actually based off of like that. We were having that conversation. He's telling me that. And as he's telling me that story, my godmother had called me the day before. And she goes, "Oh my God, Uncle Stanley, I'm freaking out. They're going to arrest him." I said, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Apparently my godfather, him and his doctor had been emailing each other anti-Obama stuff back and forth.
Okay.
And the doctor was saying like crazy shit. And it actually got flagged by the FBI, and the FBI went and investigated the doctor and checked him out. And then my guy was, "Oh my God, the doctor's sending him the stuff." Then she's like, "They're gonna come and check on Uncle Stanley now." And he's telling me this. I'm like, "This is a real thing. This happened to my Uncle Stanley." And then we just merged it all together.
That's pretty wild.
Did they actually go to his door and investigate?
My uncle, no. My godfather, no. But his doctor, yeah, was like truly investigated. Went to the door, checked him out. They're like, "Oh, this guy."
That's when you get a new doctor, just in case.
I don't care how good he is.
That is insane. And you know what's also insane is I couldn't imagine directing and writing and acting in my own film. And what was your experience on the set like?
Yeah.
It's funny. Sean and I did this. We have we have day jobs, and so for us, I work in advertising. I've managed teams for years, and Sean works in higher education and runs like a major department at a college in New York. And so from a managerial standpoint, we know how to like multitask and deal with people and handle it. So we just applied those kind of skills to the set, and so that part in some ways was easy. Like they're like, "All right, this we're the psychologist for this person of the crew right now. We're handling this issue right here." And then I think the hard part was like the days we were like, "All right, we've got to do this scene, and we've got to get prepped mentally to like be on camera, but then we want to come back and make sure like the shot is right and like the setting is not falling apart and all that." And that just took like, you just kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you just compartmentalize. Like this is the moment we're doing this is the moment we're coming back, and then you switch gears.
But there is rumors circulating online that the film was shot within a weekend. Is that true?
Over several weekends.
Yeah, several.
Yeah, one weekend that would be.
So we really just debunked that myth. But what I do want to say is, the listeners, I'm telling you, if you're a blockbuster type film nerd like myself, you'll love how Sean and Eric break every rule in filmmaking, yet you guys seem to make it work. So talk to me about how the two of you created something with the style and feel of a big budget action film.
Well, Sean said to me when we were working on had written a couple of things, we were trying to figure out our next project, and he goes, "I want to make an action movie with two people sitting in chairs talking to each other in one room for $5,000." And I was like, "I don't know what that means, Sean. I don't understand that." And then he said what you said, like, "I want the style and feel of an action film." And when he said that, I remember we were sitting in a pizza place in the East Village, and I left, and I was going to meet someone, and I'm walking through Manhattan, and I kept seeing this car chase with two people in chairs, and I was like, "All right, maybe Sean is onto something. The camera's moving constantly, and there's quick editing, and we can get sound design working. So maybe we can make it feel like that." And so that was kind of the seed that like germinated into this. And then we just were like, "All right, we're just going to take different filmmaking styles and techniques. When we want an action sequence that we can't use, we'll grab animation. And if we can't make that animation work, we don't have enough budget for that, we'll use toys and we'll use hand sketches, and we'll just pull it all together and blend it in, and it'll be some kind of weird action combination of a comedy and action movie."
That's funny you say that, because my favorite, I was telling Chris, one of my favorite parts of the movie was in your chase, and you're like, "We shouldn't have written about a Russian spy with a Russian refrigerator." Like, yes, yes, you would have been safe.
But what I'll also say about you guys' film is, I went to Cal State Los Angeles. I went through the undergrad and grad program in television, film, and theater. And, I would hear so many excuses from student filmmakers today, and I just would point this film out and say, go and check out in action.
Thank you.
See how they pulled it off on a small budget. I find it so incredible. And I must ask Sean and Eric, because, Eric, you did sort of just mention what I was kind of thinking about the film, because in action, you guys use your biological names in the film about screenwriters drafting the next big action flick. And are these fictional characters an absurd take on your actual lives? Because Eric, you just mentioned you work at an ad agency, and you do say that in the film. And so Sean, Were you always wanting to fend us off from this Arctic war? I mean, what's going on?
I would say the characters are very, very loosely based on us. But we're not as awful as the characters
Sean
in
is
the movie.
literally not that character. The only reason
No.
we used our names was because we were like, oh, we have so much to remember. Let's just keep our names. It's like one less thing for us to think about while we're acting. And now we're like, oh my god, like I'm like, people really think I'm this complete degenerate, and I'm like 10% of that complete degenerate. You know
But I
mean?
know that, Eric, you were saying that your grandma was kind of getting hit, over the, through emails at the doctor's office. So just to be clear, because we are live on air, does the NSA realize that inaction isn't real and that there isn't an Arctic war coming anytime soon?
There have been some weird people following me. I saw every time I
Yes.
go out, I'm like, who are those guys? No, we're good. We're okay.
Hey, you might need to change your medication.
You're right.
Yeah, right. But like, hey, all joking aside, Sean and Eric, I couldn't help but wonder, is any part of inaction about the real life story, for example, like, did the two of you actually reunite as friends at a wedding?
No, we did not reunite at a wedding. I mean, that said, I mean, Eric and I, we did meet in an MFA program for creative writing, and I think that that definitely that was the beginning of our friendship. And I think in our program, when people were talking about like very highfalutin literature, we would get a drink after, and we would talk about like lowbrow action movies. So we definitely we met at a writing program. But no, I think I'd like to think, Eric, that we're on much better terms in the
I mean, honestly, pretty much everything is fake in terms of like the plot and the script. Like we've never had a falling out. Sean is not a stay-at-home dad. In fact, like we both have kids now, but I was actually the only one with kids when we made it. Sean doesn't have daughters; he has a son. So like we just were like, how do we get two characters in like typical action mode that are at odds with each other, but kind of like love each other? And then how do we make them like have a little conflict and then have to find their way back together? So we figured out
it's definitely funny, and there's definitely lots of conflict. And Sean and Eric, I mean, I was quite intrigued with how the 2D animation in your action comedy worked as well as it did. So was the original idea for inaction to create 2D animation to replace the fight scenes? I mean, why weren't you guys your own stunt devils?
I think it was definitely a little bit out of necessity. I mean, we knew going into this there were certain scenes that we would never be able to shoot. And it's funny, we actually did a reading of this in Eric's apartment, but well before we shot it. It was just us in chairs reading to like a few dozen friends. And a few of the parts that were animation were just monologues. Like it would be Eric basically describing the elevator fight, and it would be me describing like a building catching on fire. And it was fun for our audience. But I think the feedback that we got, we realized that we wanted these action sequences to really really jump off. We needed to bring in an animator and get some outside help, because so much of our movie it's almost basically a theater piece, our movie, and so much of it, because of that, we wanted to give the audience like some colors and some things that can really jump out at them.
It sounds like you guys have been watching the Lego movie. Or what kind of inspirations did you guys pick up from? I mean, was that all from, did you guys start off, drawing? I mean, what was happening? I mean, was there somebody in one of your posse that kind of did all that kind of stuff? Or did you guys do all the toys and the drawings all throughout the film?
We hired an animator for the film because we're
genius.
We would have been like stick figures if it was Sean and I. Though his wife is an artist, an incredible artist. But we hired an animator for that. And then the toys, those were actually my childhood toys. So those are like those toys are from the 80s and 90s. That's why we had RoboCop, and the characters like that our face on was a Rocky Balboa and a Rambo, and so
now you can justify to your wife why you didn't throw away the toys.
Right, totally. They were at my mom's. Actually, the house was actually my wife's.
That's your
It was her
mom's.
dollhouse. So we pulled it all together from
That's
that part.
awesome.
But we hired the animator, and we knew we had like an artist to do the sketch drawings. For that, we were like, we need professionals to do this.
But even on set though, some of our crew was like, what are we doing with these toys? Like, I think it took a lot of convincing to our DP and some of our people on set. Like, they weren't exactly sure what was going on, but we had a vision though, and we were hoping it would be funny. So I'm glad it played with you guys. It means a lot.
Hey, well, obviously the vision worked out, Sean and Eric, because after a successful award-winning film festival run, how does it feel to be picked up for distribution by Gravitas Ventures?
Yeah, we were pumped. That was, we're really excited.
I would think so.
Yeah, we were, to be, it was the road to distribution was, I guess it wasn't that long, but like we had like our sales agent had told us originally like everyone passed in the movie. I don't think we even watched. We had an original poster that he was like, yeah, we'll go to market with this poster. He's like, it's not a good poster, but I'll just go to market with it. And then
Crickets.
everyone passed. He's like, well, you're.
But you're the one in ads. I mean, what do you think?
I know, and I was like,
you just let other people figure it out for your film.
Yeah, we trusted him, and then all of a sudden he was like, I think you should redo the poster. We redid the poster, and then almost 5 of the people that had passed on us, including Gravitas, were like, we want the movie, we love it. And so Gravitas was who we were hoping to be picked up by, and it was honestly when we found out the news, I was in the middle of my day job. My wife was, she sits in that chair there usually. She sees me go in the back, and she's a big time executive, and she's on a big meeting with someone from Italy, and she sees me in the background going, yeah.
Yeah, he just won a sports bet. I think the Brooklyn Nets just won, or something happened. He won some money line.
That's what it felt like. So we're really excited, and we were honored to be picked up. So we're pumped.
No, that's crazy. And do the two of you have any plans in the future to collaborate again?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, our goal. I mean, we would love if someone allows us to make another movie. I'm not sure who would do that, but if someone allows us, we have a new horror comedy right now that our manager's kind of shopping around that we would love to hopefully bring to the world soon.
Okay, so after your horror comedy, you then need to do like a 2-person Bridgerton, and one Reggie. Because like he's not going to be in season 2,
You're
so
right,
we will need somebody like this.
I can do a British accent.
We joked for a while that we would do like an in drama and in horror, like we already did an action basically in a comedy, So
I would actually love that. That'd be a cool little genre.
Hilarious. Because oh yeah, go on.
No, you keep going.
Well, Sean and Eric, I was going to say, In Action leaves the audience on a major cliffhanger at the end of the film. And without giving it away, how did you arrive at this ending? And did you already know what the ending of the film was going to be while you were shooting it?
It's funny. I think even when Eric and I first started talking about the idea, when I pitched him the idea in that pizza shop, and I knew what I wanted the last line of the movie to be, even then. And I think again, not giving too much away, I think we just wanted to toy around with the audience about like what they just saw and if they could believe any of it. And that's kind of like a little bit of like the feeling that the end gives you. But I mean, Eric, you didn't fight me too much on it, and it kind of we were like, how do we get to this ending and make it work? And we figured it out. But yeah, the ending was always an idea that we wanted from the beginning.
Well, let the CCS family know what's good. I mean, are we going to see a sequel to your action comedy? I mean, is that in the works?
We have Sean has had an idea for a long time. I think we'd rather clear our palate of it for like do something else first, and then we'll like everyone else jump back into the well, dive back in.
Hey, that's what's good. And you know what? I wanted to leave you guys enough time because obviously the CCS family needs to know what's good. So where can they check out In Action?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, honestly, it's everywhere right now. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on Google Play, Fandango. Also, if you go to our website, inactionmovie.com, there's a where it's showing link, so you can check that all out there, as well as our trailer, some reviews, and inactionmovie.com is a good place.
You're not a cord cutter. You still have cable, and you're old, and I still have cable. I still have both. I like both platforms. It makes me feel like the world is running. You can find it in all the cable outlets too. So you can do cable VOD and all the streaming VOD.
And if you're a young whippersnapper like myself, you can hit it on your iPhone to the AirPlay and throw it up on your smart TV.
There you go.
There are so many options to see this action comedy. I want to thanks again to Sean Kenealy and Eric Silvera for joining the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. Boys, we love you and much success in the future.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Keep us posted. I cannot wait to check out that next film. You guys are the guru of blockbuster type comedy action films. So let's see more from y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.